Probably not a crankbait day. Oh, I just got absolutely shalonked. Well, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to 200 Ponds. My name is Tyler. I host this series. My goal is to fish as many ponds as possible, as in 200 of them, hopefully catching bass and teaching you guys everything I learn along the way. It is a beautiful, warm winter day here in Texas. We're in between two major cold fronts, probably the last good, at least good weather fishing day we're gonna have for a long time. So I'm taking advantage of it by fishing the next pond in this series. And if you look behind me, whammy, the sun is shining, which means that it's warm outside. Hopefully the fish should be active and shallow, but polarized sunglasses are a necessity. So this episode and this series as a whole are sponsored by Amphibia Eyegear. I've worn these same exact glasses, I think, for 6 years on the channel, and I just love them. They look good on my face. They have some awesome color lenses and styles, and they float. So no more losing your glasses to the pond or the lake because these suckers float. I will have the exact discount code y'all can use and the website right down here on the bottom of the screen. Supporting Amphibia Outdoors and all the other sponsors is a great way to help this channel continue to thrive. Enough talking. Let's get down to fish pond 109. But before we get down to the pond, I've got to rig up one more lure. And for January 16th, you may call me crazy, but it's a topwater. So my neighbor's name is Wong, and he loves to fish. You don't believe me? Check out this picture of him with a big old string of bass. And the only reason I even know this pond here exists, pond 109, is because he works at the office building right next to here. And he told me the other day, Tyler, there's bass in my pond. And I said, there's no way, it's so tiny. Well, lo and behold, Mr. Wong has caught himself some nice bass out of this pond and the other small one just to the north. And he's not just catching them on your standard wintertime stuff. He's throwing topwaters. I mean, he caught that one on a plopper on December 23rd in the evening. So after seeing that, I decided, you know what, I need to make my way over to this pond and give it a try for myself. Now, this is probably the smallest pond I've fished in the entire series so far, both 100 and 200 ponds. I can make a simple one-handed roll cast and hit the other side. I mean, it is skinny. So I've got myself a Strike King Sexy Dog walking bait. We're gonna do one quick loop around this pond. I believe him that he caught topwater fish, but it seems so wild to me because if I get down here, let's start talking about conditions here. The water is probably, oh my goodness, it is a chilly willy. And the clarity, a lot clearer than I would expect a small, holding tank to be. Looks like we have like 2 foot visibility, maybe even more. Absolutely bluebird skies, which probably doesn't help the topwater bite. I think when he caught those fish, it was cloudy out. But because neighbor Wong did it, I've got to try. It just feels so wrong to throw a topwater in a pond in January that's probably 3 foot deep at a max when I don't see any bait fish moving at all. I'm really just doing this because obviously the book on bass fishing is not right all the time. So if he thinks topwater catches lunkers here, no matter the season, I gotta at least hear him out. I just made a cast that is half the pond. That full bomb cast, I make one and a half more of those, and I've cast the entire pond. Let's make a few casts at this second pond, which I'm gonna consider part of pond 109. I know it's different, but they're both so small. I'm gonna lump them together. I kind of doubt today's gonna be a moving bait day at all. All right, Wong. Now, I'm not saying that Wong caught those fish on December 23rd on a drop shot and then hung the plopper in their mouth to convince me he's a wizard. I think he's just a bass whisperer. So we're gonna go back to the truck, tie on some real wintertime stuff, and get back out to these 2 ponds. I think I'm gonna get a flat side crankbait, a drop shot, and then I'm gonna replace this topwater on this Mach Smash with a little finesse jig. And if there's a jig bite of any kind, I've got a prototype jig here that we're testing out for my own signature series jig that I haven't caught one on yet because I just got the prototype in. So maybe we'll throw it, maybe not. But I knew topwater wasn't gonna work. There's a whole snowstorm in between the last time Wong fished this pond and when I'm fishing it. But he'd probably come here and catch one on a plopper. I got me a little PB&J finesse jig. And I can't find my little Elastec worms that I've been using, the Strike King Super Finesse, so we're just gonna go drop shot with the filler worm. Gonna cut it down though, make it smaller. All right, we're done. Now what I don't wanna have to do is fish a vibrating jig, because I feel like that's just kind of the catch-all lure that you pick up when nothing else works, and it usually does, especially in these Texas ponds that I fish. And there's our bunny rabbit. But if possible, I want to see if I can catch him on something a little more wintry, like this little flat side crankbait. Now, I just released a pond crankbait instructional video, I think 2 days ago on the channel, talking about which crankbaits you can and can't throw in ponds. And yes, crankbaits in ponds equals this stuff. So I might not have a choice here in a second but to throw a vibe jig. I feel like this thing doesn't dive that deep. Maybe right down the middle. That's where they should be anyways. Oh, I'm touching the bottom, right in the middle. Maybe they're in the culvert. Yeah, I think the trick is rod tip up and then reel and stop. Reel and stop. Reel and stop. And that keeps the bait higher in the column. Oh, deflected off a piece of wood there, but I did not get snagged. So you really got to change your retrieve with the depth of water you're in, and that was a shallow cast. I'm definitely going to get stuff on that one. Yeah, no matter how fast or slow I reel it in. Wow, I snagged some actual grass though. Not very healthy, but it's not like snot grass. Today just feels like a day they should eat a jig. No wind, sun is out. With every micro hop of the rod tip, I'm just waiting for that line to go doop, swimming off to the side, lean into them, or give them the business, whatever you're feeling. There's not even a need to cast in this pond. You just flip to the other side. I just really wish I had more hard bottom ponds around me. Everything is just mud and snot. And when it's, springtime, it's healthy grass. But in the wintertime, I can hardly ever drag a jig or throw a crankbait effectively unless they're higher in the column or super light jigs. It's almost like weightless plastics is just a better option for me most of the time. But I love a jig. They just collect this kind of stuff. And the good thing about a pond that's this small and this skinny is that I don't really have to fish the other side. Maybe in the summertime, if it was warmer, I'd, get here early, throw top water, parallel both banks, and of course make a full loop. But if the fish are gonna be on the drop or in the middle, I can just cast to that drop on the other side, work the middle, and then fish the side that I'm on. That's called efficiency, folks. Probably not a crankbait day. Time to try the drop shot. But this, folks, is winter pond fishing. Even though I'm tempted to even take my jacket off, that's how warm it is. The fish don't think so today, I guess. Or I'm not my neighbor Wong. That's possible. Maybe he owns these fish. He tells them when to bite and when not to bite. Don't do it, Tyler. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm doing it. I'm getting the thunder cricket because I strongly feel like that's what they want. So we're going to rig it up on this rod. Put this crankbait away, get ourselves a little black and red with some green pumpkin on there. I just feel like that's going to work, as it always does. And we're going to walk down the bank, fish a little faster, see if that's what these fish want. Oh, I just got absolutely shalonked. Could y'all see that on my rod tip? Taylor, show them a replay of that. I hope y'all could see that. Oh, felt like a dang snapping turtle just got me. Whew. Dang, 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 I had a bite. How about that? Take a gander at that cast. They're gonna be out in the middle because the middle is 2.5 feet and the bank is 2 feet. So they're gonna be in the deepest spot. I gotta stop making like parallel casts to the bank. Ah, ¿por qué no pescaros? I'm gonna drag around the jig that doesn't vibrate just for a few casts because I got a bite here. It's just the shallowest part of the pond besides where the creek flows in. I wouldn't expect that's where all the bass are, but maybe in the sun they've gotten up on this flat. Well, pond 109A is cheeks of the booty variety. So I'm gonna spend the last hour of daylight we have, or before I go insane, casting around both types of jigs, vibrating and regular, in pond 109B. And if I don't catch one here, I stink at fishing. Oh man. That felt like something big just tugged it at the bank. But nope, it was a good old-fashioned rock. Gonna have to do the old rod trick. Got it. Not good for your rod tips, but it's pretty effective. I'm starting to think that I stink. Well, as the train goes, so go my chances of proving my worth today and catching a bass. Zero fish, one bite, 0 fish landed. But the good news for y'all is that I didn't take my drone shot or my thumbnail before I filmed this video. So I'm gonna come back here in the morning. Hopefully the conditions are different and the fish are in a different mood. And I'm gonna try to catch just one stinking bass. Okay, we are back the next morning. It is like 25 degrees colder and absolutely gassing, which either means I'm gonna be cold and also catch nothing. Or with totally different conditions, the fish may bite. Because sometimes in bass fishing, it's not about the place you go or the lure you throw, it's that the fish just weren't in the mood. So I've got a slightly different color, actually, matter of fact, not slightly different, way different color vibrating jig. Got a shad color today, because I did see a few bait fish kind of move around the shallows closer to sunset yesterday. So maybe that's what these fish want. Something that looks a little more like what they eat. You know what though, I can already tell this thing is too heavy. I had very low selection, as I realized in my truck this morning, of vibrating jigs. So I'm gonna go get myself the tiny little vibrating jig. I'll be back, and I gotta get my little combo that's better at throwing small things. Let's see how this casts in the wind. Oh yeah, much better. I'm just gonna go all the way down. I'm getting cold. All right, this is the same spot that I was at yesterday when I got my solitary bite. Please be a fish here. The wind's blowing everything into this specific corner. Come on. Gosh, come on. Come on, baby, it's cold. This, folks, is why I stick to lakes and live scope in the winter, because this is horrible. Well, folks, a lot of episodes I win and the fish lose, but every once in a while, this kind of thing happens. And you know what? It probably happens more often than y'all see on YouTube, but occasionally I need to show you the reality that I'm just like you guys. Even though I travel the country and I've got all the fancy equipment, fishing is still fishing. It's still up to you to trick the fish into biting and landing them, and I just couldn't get that done today. Now, is it the weather's fault? Is it the pond's fault? Is it my fault? It's not Wong's fault, or maybe it is his fault because he caught them all. But either way, winter fishing is tough, and today and yesterday reminded me of that. Now, I did learn one thing. This new Custom Pro casts in the wind unbelievably well. Like, I put on the tiny little, I think it's a 1/4 ounce or less than that, Mini Max vibrating jig, and I had no backlashes ever with this thing, casting directly that way. Here, let me show you. Thumbs off the spool, and it went 35 yards. That's crazy. But I am cold and ready for a coffee. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. I know a skunk every once in a while is good for everybody, so I feel humbled. If you want to watch my last episode of 200 Ponds, whammy, it'll be up here in the corner, and my entire 100 Pond series, whammy, in this corner. They're both clickable links. My tackle, as always, is linked down below, and we'll see y'all next time, hopefully with a little more success on 200 Ponds.